Hey folks, JT Savage here at Savage Talk. I know I haven't seen you in a while, but stuff happens in life where you get busy and you gotta take care of some things. But I'm back now. Most important thing is, we're gonna talk about the Doctor Strange movie today. Now, this is gonna be two reviews. It's gonna be the Sam Raimi movie Doctor Strange review and the MCU movie Doctor Strange review. And the Sam Raimi Doctor Strange review is not going to have any spoilers.
Hail to the king, baby.
The MCU Doctor Strange review will have spoilers because it's kind of dog shit. And, so I will let you know when that happens. And you can not listen to it if you haven't seen the movie yet from there, or if you have seen the movie, or you're not planning to see the movie and you just want to hear what happens in it, well, listen to the whole thing. Anyway, let's get into it. I just noticed my mic sounds a little weird. I don't know why, but we're going to have to roll with it, so I apologize. So anyway, the non-spoiler review of Doctor Strange, okay? So let me explain. I went in to see this Doctor Strange movie like I was a kid who loved the Doctor Strange comics in the 70s and 80s, okay? Yeah, that's how far I go back, okay? And I like the horror aspect of Doctor Strange and the magic aspect of it back in those days. And that's why I like the comic book. It wasn't my favorite comic book, but I'm saying the whole Marvel back in those days, like the horror, I don't know what you would call it, but it was like main Marvel comics, and then there was like the horror section of Marvel comics. Even though Doctor Strange used to interact with the rest of the Marvel universe and all the horror stuff did too, it was sort of separate in a way for the most part. Like they had their own little thing going. Or it felt like it was their own little thing. Maybe it wasn't, but that's what it felt like. Okay, so Sam Raimi and Doctor Strange mix really well together. Okay, because Doctor Strange was mystical and there was like a lot of horror elements into it and demons and monsters, which I'm gonna get back to later, probably in the spoiler section about the demon part, because there's something interesting there that nobody's really talked about. There's a lot of things we're going to talk about today that nobody talked about, and I'm really curious to see what you guys think about it. So first off, as a kid who's grown up that loved Sam Raimi movies, Evil Dead, Bruce Campbell, all that stuff, and like the old Doctor Strange comics, this movie was really good to me in that sense. Like, really good. Like, I love the Sam Raimi aspects of the movie. I love the horror elements of the movie. There's parts of it where I'm sitting back and I'm like, this is like Evil Dead.
I'll swallow your soul!
And I got all excited and happy, right? So, that was awesome. So, and then, it's so weird, man, because this movie was 80% reshot at some point. I don't know why. Like, nobody said why. Like, I don't know if it's because the old director didn't do well, or because it was originally supposed to come out before the Spider-Man movie and they had to change a lot of things. But 80%, that's like a whole new movie, right? So when you watch this movie, you're going to see a lot of different things. It's going to look like, it's going to look like a Sam Raimi movie, period, But then it's like an MCU movie separately. Like, there's parts that are strictly MCU and not Sam Raimi, and then there's other parts that are strictly Sam Raimi, and you're like, yeah, it's a fucking Sam Raimi movie. So, I mean, it's so weird, man. And then there's the whole woke part of the fucking movie, which I'm not going to get into now again. I'm just keeping this Sam Raimi part, okay?
See this? This is my boomstick!
The good parts. And yes, Bruce Campbell is in this movie. And yes, there is an Evil Dead game coming out next week. And I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to review it. And if I can figure out how to stream it, I may even stream it as well, because I've been waiting for a good Evil Dead game forever, and Bruce Campbell's in it, and all the characters from all the movies and all the shows are going to be in it. and hopefully it's good. All right, I've heard nothing but good things about it. I heard they got most of the bugs ironed out, and it looks like a fun game. We'll see. But anyway, back to the review. So, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, that's the title of the movie, and there is some multiverse part of it, and I don't know how much madness there was, but the horror aspects of it, the magic stuff was kind of cool. The Marvel magic stuff was kind of silly. I'm not gonna get into it now. Save it for later. All right, the Bruce Campbell part was funny. It was cool. It was very Bruce Campbell. It was very Sam Raimi. The cuts, the camera angles, the special effects in a lot of the movie was all very Sam Raimi, unmistakably Sam Raimi in a good way. Some of it is a little outdated, but I don't care, man. I was happy to see it. Man. That's all I could say. Like, to me, that was the best parts of the movie, because most Marvel movies now, it's like they don't hire directors, they hire names, like, because they all look the same. All the movies are the same. They're all done the same. Ever since Endgame, I think all the movies have been on a decline, with the exception of Spider-Man, and that was mostly because of member berries, but it was a good story as well, and it was well acted, and the Spider-Man movie was good, and I don't think I was even making reviews then, so yeah, I missed that one. But I'm here now, and we're going to do it as Doctor Strange. Okay, we're going to try and do it justice. So, if you're a Sam Raimi fan and an old school Doctor Strange comic book fan, I think you should go see this movie. Okay, and if you cut out the woke parts, or don't harp on the woke parts, and you don't look at it as a MCU continuation movie, it's a good movie. Okay, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 in that aspect, in the Sam Raimi Doctor Strange-ish kind of things. Now, there's not a lot I can say about it. Like, I could talk all day about the effects and what happened and da, but not without spoilers. So if you like Sam Raimi, go see this movie. If you like Bruce Campbell, I'm not saying he's in it for a lot, but go see the movie for Bruce Campbell. If you like Doctor Strange comic books from back in the day with horror aspects, go see the movie. Now, let's go over to the MCU review of this movie. Okay, there's gonna be some spoilers here. Okay, and to be honest, this is how I feel about it.
I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things right now: Jack and shit. And Jack left town.
Okay, that's it. You ain't leading two things but now, and Jack and shit, and Jack left town. This is more, if you look at this now as an MCU movie, they done fucked up. Okay? I'll give you the Angry Joe. They done fucked up. Wanda, the movie's about Wanda being a villain. Okay? Straight up. She's a fucking villain. There's no redeeming quality to her whatsoever. She is a fucking villain. Straight up villain. I'm not sympathetic to her. I'm not, I have no feels for her, okay? Now, you're led to believe at the end that she dies. I'm going to tell you right now, you're led to believe that she dies. Now, if she didn't die, okay. But the fact that if she is dead, if you watch the whole WandaVision thing, and you saw that she became a villain at the WandaVision thing, and she never paid a price for the horrible things that she did to a town full of people, women, children, men, women, children. You're like, what the fuck, okay? Because you think she kind of got redeemed, but she never paid a price for it. Other than she never had kids that she never had. So really, she paid no price. At the end, Vision is alive. Vision got all the memories of the old Vision, and he's not in this movie. So if she died in this movie, like they claim, like they show you, it's fucked up, right? Because there's no Vision. There's no end to that story as far as what happened with Vision and her and whatever, right? Now, if you were looking at this movie for the multiverse aspect, the multiverse aspect of this movie is very small. Like, they jump through a bunch of different multiverses with America Chavez, who's woke, and while it wasn't too terrible, you know, it had its moments that were just like cringe, and that was to be expected. If you go to this movie and you don't expect some cringe from the America Chavez character, because America Chavez is cringe, period. So it was going to be cringe. The stupid memory machine was cringe. The little scene where her two moms, it's from the comics, I guess. But how stupid is it that she got scared by a bee, and that's how she sucked her moms into some other universe? God knows what happens. I didn't read the comics, so I don't know. I don't care. I really don't care about her parents. I don't care about her. Obviously, she's going to fit into the Marvel Universe movies from here on in, so we're going to see more of her. I don't know how. I don't know when. Don't care. We start off with Doctor Strange having this dream, which you find out later is not a dream, right? It's whatever you dream, apparently, it's your other self in another universe in the multiverse, okay? And in that other multiverse he was dreaming about, Defender Strange was with America Chavez, and they were being chased by some kind of demon with runes all over it, and they were trying to get the Book of Ashanti, which is like the good magic book of the universe, and there's only one, apparently, I think they said, and it's in the nexus of the universe where all the universes, multiverse meets, all the different universes meet, okay? The space in between. And they're about to die, and Strange is like, look, I got to take your powers because it's the only way to beat this thing, because you don't know how to use them because you're stupid. And he dies, and she escapes, and she's like, oh, you're an asshole. And then we see Doctor Strange wake up, and he had that dream, which wasn't a dream again, but, he thinks it's a dream. And then we find out that his girl, Christine, marries some other guy, and he's cucked. And of course, being a Marvel movie now and a Disney movie, everything's about diversity. So she married a black guy. Who cares? I'm just saying, everything is diversity now. Doesn't matter. I don't care. It's just like, oh, look, another diversity thing. That's all they do now. It's just what movies are. It's just what television is. It's just for the sake of saying, hey, diversity, not because it's important. They don't even really talk to this guy. All you find out is that he's a fan of Doctor Strange. Okay, who cares? It's just stupid. Anyway, so she's pretty much like, you're a jerk, and you put yourself before everything. You have to be the guy who saves everybody. You're that guy. You're an asshole. You're whatever. Even though he pretty much saved the whole fucking universe, or at least our universe. And speaking of universes, fuck you, Marvel. Fuck you, DC, I should say. Not DC. Fuck you, Disney. God damn, I'm so mad. Fuck you, Disney, with your, calling the MCU the 616 universe when the comic books is the 616 universe. The comic books and the fucking MCU movies are nothing like one another. How dare you call our MCU the MCU movie shit the same as the 616 universe, okay? You don't even have the X-Men. You don't have the Fantastic Four. You don't have any of that shit, okay? You're not the 616. That is an insult to the comics. You could have just used any other number. You could have made up your own number. You could have made up something cool, but you tried to co-opt the actual 616 universe. If you're not a comic books fan, you're not going to care about what I'm talking about here. I'm just saying. It's dumb. It's fucking dumb, and it's wrong. And that's what Disney does. They do wrong things. That's why they're failing miserably and everything. Now, don't get me wrong. This fucking movie has already made $450 million worldwide, and I'm pretty sure it's going to make at least $1 billion, okay? Like I said before in the earlier part of the review, I enjoyed it from a certain perspective. And I'm sure the Marvel stands and the average normie viewer is going to enjoy this movie, right? You're not going to pick it apart as I'm doing right now. You're just going to go and you're going to say, oh, I like this or I don't like that and blah, 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 blah. Okay? There's a lot of things to like about this movie, and there's a lot of things to really despise about this movie. Okay? This was a middle of the road Marvel movie because of certain things that I'm going to get into now. Okay? He's at the wedding. He gets cucked by Christine. She tells him blah, blah, blah. And then there's a fight outside, and he goes to help. And, he has to be the guy with the scalpel, as she said. And he meets America Chavez. They fight a different monster. This monster has a different name, but they couldn't use the name because something else I'm not going to get into it. Somebody else can explain it to you. I don't care. It's not important. Cool eyeball tentacle monster. Right? I forget his name in this movie even. What they call him in this doesn't matter. He has runes all over him like the other monster did. He's trying to kill America Chavez. Doctor Strange and Wong go to hell. Wong is awesome. I love seeing Wong. I love seeing Doctor Strange. All that battle was cool. Then the Sam Raimi element of that movie when they pull the eyeball out was fucking cool. The gore in this movie is more than you'll see in any other Marvel movie. I don't know if that's strictly because of Sam Raimi, but I'm pretty sure it was, and the fact that they got away with it, even better. Okay, everyone was like, oh, Wanda's just the Ultron things. Wanda just has grease on it. It's not blood. They would never do blood in a Marvel movie. No, pretty sure it's fucking blood. Okay, they don't care. They went off with this movie, and that was one of the better things about it because it wasn't all wah kids, which is kind of funny because there was a little kid sitting right next to me at this movie at 11 o'clock at night. His parents brought him to this movie. This kid was scared to death because this was, half a horror movie for the most part. This kid was scared, and he was at least 10 or 12 years old, and his daddy had to talk to him a few times to calm him down. He wasn't like screaming and crying, but he was noticeably scared, and, he said a few things. So if you bring your kids to this movie, you probably shouldn't. This is not a movie for kids. I know it's not a rated R movie, but it's still a horror movie, and you kids might be scarred. And you know what? If I was a kid, I would have watched this movie, and I would have been scared to shit, and I would have enjoyed that. But, I'm an adult now, so I don't really get scared of movies. For the most part. I mean, jump scares, sure, but I don't get, oh, God, monsters. But anyway, if you're going to bring your kid to this movie, he's probably going to have some nightmares, okay? So they defeat the eyeball monster, and America Chavez explains who she is, and Doctor Strange is like, oh, so this was magic, so I know who deals with magic, the Scarlet Witch. Let's go talk to her. And, she's like, oh, you hear about the thing that happened in Westview, in other words, WandaVision. He's like, nah, I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about this thing. Let's forget the fact that you tortured a whole town full of fucking people and enslaved them and tortured them for weeks or months, however long it was, and starved their children and kept their parents from their children and forced them to live out some lie. Why would we talk about that? It's Disney. We don't want to talk about reality and the horrible things that people do. So, you quickly find out that she has the Book of the Darkhold, which is a book of evil, and it basically corrupts anybody who uses it, and which will come into play later, obviously. And she's now evil, and she's like, "Fuck that! I want my children. Give me America Chavez." She slips up, reveals that this was all her doing, and that she's after America Chavez for her powers. All right. So Doctor Strange is like, "Yo, you bugging out," and she's like, "No, you better give me this girl, or I'm a tear shit up." Okay. She already killed Defender Strange, right? With her monster, had him killed. So she ain't messing around. She's not good. And he's like, well, I'm going to take her to Camartage, which is where all the, sorcerers live. And they got all the other sorcerers, and Wong is there. And again, Doctor Strange is cucked because Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme, because Doctor Strange is blipped for 5 years. And he's like, I'm not bowing. He's like, it's customary to bow. And I like Wong, so I'm not mad about it, but it's like he's supposed to be Doctor Strange's Sorcerer Supreme, okay? That's my only gripe with that, is this, it's supposed to be him. He got cucked again. And they're like, all right, we got to prepare, she's crazy, we got to talk reason to her, da-da-da-da-da. Scarlet Witch comes, she beats them, she kills a whole bunch of them, she enslaves a whole bunch of them. Doctor Strange and America Chavez escape through a portal, one of America's portals, and they go through the multiverse and all these different dimensions. And that part was cool. I wish there was more of that. I wish there was more multiverse in general. And then they end up on this weird world where like lights are like street lights are backwards, and then they have this really woke moment with about food where they're like, oh, we need to get you some food, da 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 da. And she starts eating food or whatever, and he's like, where you get money for that? She's like, oh, food is free in most universes, giving you the big communist moment of the movie. And then she found out she was wrong. And then the Bruce Campbell thing comes in because Bruce Campbell is the fucking man.
Hail to the king, baby.
And that was funny, and it was nice to see. And then they find this machine that shows them memories, which I mentioned earlier. And that was stupid and woke and whatever. And then they figure out that they should go to that Doctor Strange in this multiverse, in this universe, and see what he knows. And they go there and they find out there's this big statue of him, and that he saved the universe from Thanos or some shit like that in that multiverse, in that universe rather. And then they're greeted by Mordred, who, if you remember Mordred from the first movie, who Doctor Strange is like, yeah, he turned evil, and I fought him a bunch of times. He tried to kill me. How fucked up is that? Doctor Strange movie 2, all the fights from Mordred that supposedly happened, we're never going to see. They set you up for that in the first movie. It's never happening, right? Or it already happened, so we don't get to see it. It's mentioned casually and then thrown as a throwaway just to warn you that this Mordred might be an asshole. And it's like, what the fuck? Or Mordo, whatever the fuck his name is, Mordo. And who's great, by the way. I love that guy. The actor, he's good. And I'm like, did you just throw away his character? Did you just throw away their whole story that you set up in the first movie? What? What the fuck? Yeah, that pissed me off. Was not happy about that. There's so many little things like that through this movie that I'm just like, what the fuck? So he takes them inside. He acts like he's all buddy, happy to see them. He's like, the other Doctor Strange warned me about you, that you'd be, we might run into another Doctor Strange one day. And, he makes it seem like he's happy to see him and tells him, I think, that the other Doctor Strange died. Well, he already knows that from the statue. And you find out he drugs them, and he's like, no, man. No, this Wanda Scarlet Witch isn't the problem. You're the problem. All you Doctor Stranges are the problem. You're all evil. You're all bad. You all go bad. You all think you're hot shit, and you all turn bad, and you mess everything up. Right? Takes them to the Illuminati. Okay? Spoiler. Like, everybody already knows. It was spoiled weeks ago, months ago. Everybody who follows these things knew this. Okay? And then you get your cameo moments. And he warns them that, hey, Scarlet Witch is coming. He's like, yeah, we're not worried about her. We can handle her. We're the fucking Illuminati. We're the best. We do everything right. The only problem is you, man. All you Doctor Stranges are the problem. Not her, who's killing everybody. You're the problem. Because you messed up and you used the Darkhold and you turned evil. And you made us kill you, and we know in all the other universes you're all jerks and you're all about yourself and you mess up everything, right? So you're led to believe that Doctor Strange is the problem everywhere. He's the worst, bad white man, blah, blah, blah. Worst guy ever. Worse than the Scarlet Witch, who's the evil whammon. Anyway, so they lock him up. Well, actually, no. They lock America up, and then you see Christine of that universe, and she was like, oh, yeah, I loved him, but, he's a bad guy. He's the bad guy. You're all the bad guy. White man bad. That's what I get from it. That's what it is, right? Anyway. So, then you get your feel-good moments, right? They show you Black Bolt in his real Black Bolt costume, not the corny costume from the TV show, which was horrendous. Anson Mount, he was awesome. Then you get your Captain Carter, you know, who looked kind of, I don't know, the outfit looked kind of bad, but I was happy to see her. Like, everybody knew she was coming. Then you had Monica Rambeau, or one of the Rambos, the mom from Captain Marvel, who dies in the WandaVision, right? You find out she's dead, and her daughter is all grown up now, and she's going to become a hero. She started to become a hero in WandaVision, but they never went anywhere with it. She's not in this, but her mom's in this, and she's the Captain Marvel of this universe, okay? Now, you get your Professor Xavier in his X-Men animated series wheelchair, which was cool. Like, you got all these little member berries here, right? You get, you find out that Mordred, whatever his name is the Sorcerer Supreme now, that Doctor Strange is dead. He's also on the Illuminati Council. Who else? I'm saving the best and worst for last, but I swear I'm forgetting somebody. Must not be that important, right? So then we see John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, okay? Now, I knew this was coming, and I was happy to see it, but I also knew what was going to happen next, so I wasn't that happy. But the theater erupted at this part, okay? The theater was more happy about him than pretty much anything else in this movie, and that felt good. That was cool. And I'm thinking to myself, these poor bastards don't know what's coming, right? They're happy to see him, but do they know what's going to happen? Probably not. So anyway, they start talking, and they're like, hey, you're the bad guy. We ain't worried about her. We'll take care of her. I already mentioned this, but let's get into it again. So they're all telling him that they're not worried about her. They're a little Illuminati. They could beat anybody. You're the bad guy. You screwed everything up. All the Doctor Stranges are screw-ups. Blah, 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 blah. I mentioned this before, but... So anyway, Wanda comes. She kills Black Bolt, Mr. Fantastic, almost immediately. Okay? Almost immediately. You see them for, maybe 5 minutes in the movie, and then they get killed. And then the women, Peggy Carter and Captain Marvel, they last a little longer, and they get to get their licks in because they're super women and they're ultra powerful. But ultimately, they get fucking wiped out too. They get killed. Okay? The Peggy Carter thing where she's like, I could do this all day like Captain America. Yeah, that was cheesy as fuck. That was cringe. I don't know why, it just was. People liked it. I thought it was cringe. A lot of people think it's cringe. Captain Marvel died stupidly. I didn't like that part, man. I didn't like the whole Illuminati part. I like to see them. I was, but it was like wasted. It was like you finally get to see the guy you want to play, Mr. Fantastic, and he gets killed. And who even knows if they're going to use him in the Fantastic Four movie? We don't know because nothing's been announced. So if they don't use him, people are going to be pissed. And if they do use him and he's not that good, people are going to be pissed. So he better be good because they didn't write him good in this. He wasn't the world's smartest man in this, okay? He just wasn't. But he looked cool. They all look cool, I didn't like the Captain Marvel costume. It was too toned down. It wasn't very colorful. I don't know why they did that, but I'm sure they had their reasons. Anyway, and I didn't like the Captain Carter costume. It wasn't cool. The shield was cool. So anyway, Doctor Strange is like, look, Mordo, you gotta let me out, man. Your friends are getting killed. I gotta stop her. You ain't gonna be able to do it. He's like, you're the bad guy, blah, blah, blah. And then Doctor Strange uses his hatred of him and his jealousy of him against him, because in his universe, like he said, we had fights and he was jealous of me and he tried to kill me, blah, blah, blah. He used that against him in this to piss him off. And they fight. And you know what? I honestly don't remember what happens to him. I don't remember if he dies or not. Mordo. I don't remember if he dies. It wasn't important. Another important thing that really I don't understand and they don't explain and it leaves you with questions and it pisses you off is if you heard the rumors, a lot of people were saying that Tom Cruise was going to play like Superior Iron Man in this movie. And we knew for the longest time that there was Ultron bots in the Illuminati. But there's no Iron Man, but they have Ultron bots, and they don't explain where the Ultron bots came from or how they fit into this universe. They're just there, and there's no Iron Man, and there's no Tom Cruise, and that whole plot or plot device or whatever was left unused and unexplained, and it was just another stupid part of the movie that for all we know could have been part of the original movie. The other 80% that they trashed and did over, who the fuck knows? Nobody knows, because nobody's talking about it. I thought that was very strange. A lot of people aren't talking about that. Like, I heard maybe one person mention it. Seems important to me, but nobody's talking about it. So whatever. I guess we're not going to find out. Maybe someone will talk about it from Marvel, Disney, whoever, Feige. But I'm sure they're too busy to push some other woke bullshit on us to explain, rather than explain what that was all about and why it makes no sense and whatever, man. That's just disappointing, man. So much disappointment in this movie, even though I enjoyed the movie on some level. It's like hit and miss at the same time. Like, there's so many good things about it, and none of them are really MCU related in a sense. It's like member berries, things we might have been happy to see if they do the right thing with it, and all the rest was Sam Raimi and Doctor Strange stuff. So basically, Wanda's just killing people left and right. She killed a whole bunch of people, Kamar-Taj, and tortured them. She killed a whole bunch of the Illuminati and who knows how many people in that building, because they had a whole bunch of people working for them. Doctor Strange and America Chavez and whatever his ex-girlfriend's name was, I don't even remember anymore. They escape. They go for the Book of Ashanti. Book of Ashanti gets destroyed. Doctor Strange figures some things out. He could the reason that the way Wanda gets into this universe where they are is she can't travel the universe. The only one who can really do that is America Chavez. That's why she's so important, and that's why Wanda wants to steal her power and kill her. She basically wants to kill her. She's like, instead of just stealing her power, she's like, no, you got to kill her too. Or instead of just using her power to get to a universe where her kids are there, she's like, I need the power for myself, which will kill her, because she's evil. And the Book of Ashanti, the Book of oh my God, what the hell's the Darkhold made her evil, right? That's what it does. It corrupts people. So they go into another universe, and I forget where I think America gets pulled out of this at one point. Oh my God, I forgot what happened. Anyway, there's another universe that looks like the universe where what if Doctor Strange destroys the whole universe, trying to bring where he tries to bring Christine Palmer back to life or prevent her from dying. Okay, that so he basically steals power from all these other powerful magical beings and books and everything, and basically ends up trying to rewrite a fixed point in time, which has been used in a lot of other sci-fi and other stories in history of movies and whatnot and television shows. And because you can't change a fixed point in time, mostly Doctor Who, I think, is where that's been used the most, which don't even get me started on new Doctor Who wokeness. Dead franchise. Not even gonna give this one a chance. Anyway, so Christine Palmer, he tried to bring her back to life, and he went totally evil. And this looks like that universe, but I don't think it's the same Doctor Strange, because I think that whole universe blipped out of existence because of that, and I think he died. And this is a different one who did something similar, right? He did something similar. I don't remember his storyline because, again, but they fight, and I think he wanted Christine in this one or something. Whatever, it doesn't matter. They fight, and the important part of this is Doctor Strange is like, look, I use the Darkhold, it corrupts you. If you use it, it'll corrupt you, right? And the whole, again, I probably missed this or forgot this, but the whole way that Scarlet Witch gets into the other dimensions, which only America Chavez can do, I did mention that, is she used the Darkhold to skinwalk people, which means she can find a variant of her in a different universe and take over their body and be her, and move around in that universe as her, since she can't just travel universes, which is what she needed America for. So she finds the Wanda in that universe who actually has the kids that she had in WandaVision, and that's how she goes after the Illuminati and how she goes after Doctor Strange. And so when Doctor Strange is in this universe fighting the other Doctor Strange, and he ends up dead, he ends up killing him. He's like, okay, I can use the Darkhold to skinwalk, because they get trapped in that universe. America gets pushed out by the other Doctor Strange, and him and Christine are trapped there. That's what happens. All right, I remember that now. So he's like, well, how are you going to skinwalk a Doctor Strange in our universe? You're our Doctor Strange in that universe. And he's like, well, didn't say it had to be living. And it's like, oh shit, this is where the zombie in the commercial comes from. And it's like the Defender Strange, who dies in the beginning. America Chavez brought his body with her when she came into our universe. Okay, I left that out. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. And Doctor Strange buries him in like a plot on top of in like a planter or something like that in on a skyscraper in New York City where they were. I think it's probably where the wedding was. Whatever. Anyway, he buried the body there of the dead Defender Strange who tried to kill America in the beginning of the movie. And so he uses the Darkhold, which will corrupt you and skinwalk into the corpse of fucking Doctor Strange from the other universe. So he's basically Zombie Strange from the What If zombies, which is cool, but different. It's different than that, but it looked like that, and it was cool, and it was fucking Sam Raimi as hell, and that's why it was awesome.
Give me some sugar, baby.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed that part of the movie where he was a zombie. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I thought that was cool as shit. And it was a creative way of getting around the problem. And now these spirits and demons were attacking him. Okay, attacking Zombie Strange because he used basically necromancy to possess that body. Now, and Wanda used demons to attack from the Darkhold to attack America as well. So that's really opening the door for Mephisto, okay, from the comics. And we haven't seen Mephisto yet in the MCU. And originally, this movie's villain was supposed to be Nightmare from the Doctor Strange comics, who's awesome. And that would have been awesome. And like I said, 80% of this movie was redone. So maybe they did film all that. I'm going to say it right here. And a lot of people have been saying it. We need to see the Raimi cut of this Doctor Strange movie. If he had 80% refilmed, was it his 80% or was it the previous director? I don't know. But I would like to see whatever Sam Raimi had planned for this movie before they made him redo 80%. If it was all the stuff he did or not. I would love to see what he did regardless that they made him MCU up, because the MCU up part was trash. The Sam Raimi stuff, like the zombie and all, oh man, that was the coolest parts of this movie by far and away. So he gets attacked by all these demons. It opens the door, hopefully, for Mephisto, because they have to explain at some point where these demons came from. And a lot of the reviewers that review Marvel movies always talk about Mephisto, and we're waiting for him to see, because the whole Spider-Man No Way Home thing, that played out a lot like an old Spider-Man comic which basically ruined Spider-Man, by the way. Kind of it's when I stopped reading comics. It was right around this time where they had a storyline where Spider-Man, where the world found out who Peter Parker was and that he was Spider-Man, and Spider-Man made a deal with Mephisto to make the world forget. Okay, so people wouldn't attack Aunt May and Mary Jane, and it wouldn't screw up his life. Okay, and that it made it so that it ruined his marriage. It ruined a lot of things. It ruined Spider-Man for me. It's basically the end of when I was reading comics. It was like right at that time, everything fell apart for me. So everyone expected Mephisto when that happened, and we didn't get him. And now they're doing this these demon stuff in Doctor Strange, and maybe that's opening the door for Mephisto, but who knows? Because Mephisto is very important in the Marvel Comics universe, and I know I said it ruined Spider-Man, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff with Mephisto, especially with Doctor Strange. He's been a big part of Doctor Strange forever. Maybe they're going to introduce him, but I don't know. It seems like they're setting up for it. We didn't get it yet, but maybe we will. So anyway, again, Wanda is irredeemable at this point. She finds the temple where the Scarlet Witch is supposed to be, or was, or they don't really explain it. They talked about it in WandaVision, but there's carvings of her on the wall. There's demons there that bow down to her and serve her. And she fights Zombie Strange, and that was cool. And hold on, I got to go back a little bit. When Doctor Strange was fighting evil Doctor Strange, they used these magical musical notes. That was corny as hell. It was corny as hell. It looked kind of cool, but it was kind of cringe, and it was corny as hell. It was another bad, and that might have purely been a Sam Raimi thing, and I didn't like that part. Sam Raimi or not, I thought that was goofy as hell. But anyway, back to where we were. So Doctor Strange is fighting Wanda as a zombie, and Wong is there, and Wong almost dies, and Wong is trying to fight, and America is being killed and having her power sucked out by Wanda. And then Doctor Strange, I forgot who brought it to his attention, but he figures out the way to beat Wanda is to show her what a monster she is through her children's eyes, or her fake children, some of her other children, other universe of hers children's eyes. So, he gives America the pep talk, and America shows the children what a monster that Scarlet Witch is, and they're scared to death of her. And she's like, I would never hurt you. And they're like, why are you attacking us? And, oh, mommy, you're a monster. And she realizes that she's the evil, that she's nothing good about her. She was going to kill children. She killed all these other people just to steal some other hers children that aren't hers. So Wanda decides to kill herself. She decides to destroy herself. And before she does, she destroys all the Darkholds in all the universes. So there's no more Darkhold. Now, Doctor Strange already used the Darkhold, and it's already infected him. Right? That's what we're left with, and I'll explain that in a minute. But so we're left with Doctor Strange doesn't beat the villain. She beats herself, and because of America, and because he didn't take the scalpel this time and do it himself, he encouraged America Chavez to learn how to use her powers and to do it herself, and that she could do it, and that she's the bestest ever, and this is now you're a hero, and now you can blah blah blah, and basically the women are the most powerful people in the Marvel Universe, and Doctor Strange was cucked in his own movie, and it was more of a Wanda movie than a Doctor Strange movie, and whatever. That's why I don't love it, is all the elements that I've complained about, how they mishandled the Illuminati, how they mishandled the wokeness of it, how they mishandled the Ultron thing, which made no sense. And now we're going to get to the last part that was stupid and made no fucking sense. Not that it happened, but I'll explain. So the movie ends with Doctor Strange, redeeming himself and realize he's not like all the other Doctor Stranges. He doesn't have to be the guy with the scalpel. He learned, he grew, he grew as a character. That's great. So he's going out to live his life. He's okay with Christine, with the guy. He's okay with letting other people do things. He's okay. He help people. He's okay with Wong being the Sorcerer Supreme. He bows to Wong. It's like, oh, okay. So he's about to go out and live his life. And then he freaks out and the big third eye pops out on his head and it ends on like a cliffhanger. And you're like, ooh, I wonder what they're going to do with this. Are they going to make Doctor Strange evil? So then you sit through the fucking credits and they ruin the fucking cliffhanger. Nobody's talking about this. How is this not the most important thing about the fucking movie? So they this must have been because of the 80% rewrites. So you see Doctor Strange again, like that didn't just happen. Like that didn't just fucking leave you like, what the fuck? And you see Clea, who's Charlize Theron, who's an awesome character. I don't like her as Clea. I was hoping for a much younger Clea, but I guess since Doctor Strange is old as fuck, they had to use the old as fuck Clea because she becomes his love interest in the comics. Like they get married at one point. She's super powerful. She's like the niece of Dormammu, the big space monster from the first movie, which I don't know how that could even be, but whatever, because he's like a cosmic head or whatever. I don't know. Maybe she's not related to him in the movies, but she was in the goddamn comics. Anyway, so she's like, "Oh, you tore a hole in the universe. You fucked everything up. We got to go fix it." And then he pops the eye on his head like nothing's wrong with it. And then they go to whatever, and then they go do what? I guess they go fix it. I guess we'll find out later. But why was the cliffhanger end of the movie if you just wrote it away? I mean, it doesn't even make sense why you would end the movie like that and then have that as the goddamn after credit scene. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. And then you get a after credit scene with Bruce Campbell, and that was great. And I was really expecting some sort of Kang tie-in, because the whole Loki thing was supposed to be about the multiverse and the whole unraveling of the multiverse, and they just left that alone. They didn't even harp on that. It had nothing to do with the Doctor Strange multiverse thing. Again, not enough multiverse in the multiverse of madness. That's the way I look at it. I mean, there was 4 Doctor Stranges. They went to a few different multiverse universes, but it just wasn't very maddening, and it wasn't very multiversing. Again, there were some, I felt like there should have been more. I still enjoyed the movie as an old school Doctor Strange and Sam Raimi fan, but as an MCU movie, it failed on a lot of different points as far as I'm concerned. They screwed up a lot of things. There's so many things they could have done better on an MCU level, but on our Sam Raimi Doctor Strange level, it was pretty badass. It was nice to see Wong badass. It was nice to see Clea, even though I don't agree with the choice as Charlize Theron. Not that I don't like Charlize Theron. I do like Charlize Theron. Just don't feel she's for that role, but maybe I'll be proven wrong, but somehow I doubt it. This movie's going to make a ton of money. People are going to get in for the cameos. There should have been more cameos. I hate to say there should be more cameos, but I really was hoping to see more. I was hoping to see an Iron Man variant. I heard Wolverine was in it. I was hoping to see if they had a new actor play Wolverine. We didn't see it. And most importantly, we're still no closer to explaining how they're going to fit the Fantastic Four into this Marvel universe, or the X-Men into our 616 universe. We're no closer to figuring that out. I hear rumors about some things where that's going to be done in Secret Wars, and then maybe all the universes are going to converge. But honestly, this is just my opinion. After Endgame, they should have ended the MCU at Endgame and then rebooted the whole MCU. Now that they had all the characters, they had to deal with Sony for Spider-Man. They had X-Men back. They have Fantastic Four back. They should have just rebooted the whole MCU with younger actors so they don't age out and they don't get so high paid that they don't want to pay them to be in the movies anymore, or the actors just get tired of playing the characters anymore. They should have just rebooted the whole fucking thing and have all the different teams in there from the get-go, and then you could have had your 616 universe, and then you could have had everybody fit together the way they should be together, and instead of however you're going to shoehorn them all together into our universe, which I'm sure is going to be a nightmare and not going to work well, but we'll see. Only time will tell. But anyway, that's my review. I mean, if I have to give it a score, I would say Sam Raimi, Doctor Strange, it was an 8. On an MCU scale, I would say it's more like a 6. MCU movie 6. Sam Raimi, Doctor Strange movie 8. Still gonna make a ton of money. Still a lot of people are either gonna love this movie or hate it. Some people are gonna be in the middle. I guess I'm in the middle. Like, some of me loved it and some of me hated it. I have to be of two minds of this movie because it fits into the Marvel universe, so I have to look at it that way. But it also, as a standalone Sam Raimi Doctor Strange movie, I enjoyed it. Other than making him a cuck, I like Benedict Cumberbatch. I like Wong. I like Rachel McAdams. I like Chiwetel Ejiofor. I don't even know how to say his name. Guy who plays Mordo. I wasn't the biggest fan of America Chavez, but she's a kid. She's probably a new actress, so I can't really judge her. Yeah. I like the people who played the cameo characters, obviously. I hope they do use them more, and I hope they use them better in the future. I'm just really concerned that the MCU is on a decline. Ever since Endgame, even though, other than Spider-Man, all the movies since Endgame have been, Endgame is here for me, way up here. We'll say here. And then everything other than Spider-Man is kind of down here, and it seems like they're going down instead of up. The stakes don't seem as big. They don't seem as it seems like it's more about diversity than good stories now, which is most entertainment these days. But I hope it gets better. But there's a lot of reviews I should be making that I should have made over the last few weeks, like Halo, which is trash beyond trash. The only good thing I've seen, like legitimately good thing I've seen, is still Tokyo Vice. And I just finished season 1 of that last night, and I didn't even realize that was the season 1 ending, because I thought, and my one complaint about that, because I'm not going to do a review of it, I'm going to put it here, is that you start off Tokyo Vice seeing how it's about to end. Like, the rest of the show is a flashback, but you start off seeing how things are going to wind up. You don't see how they wind up, but so you have a whole season, and you expect at the end of the season for them to get to that part where you are at the beginning of the season, and you don't. And that's why I thought there was going to be more episodes. Plus, the way people write about the shows, there was going to be episode 9, and then it was already out, which makes no sense because it's only 8 episodes. So it's very confusing in that sense that they don't tie up the season. There's no tie up to the season that starts off showing you how it ends, right? You have to wait for a whole nother season to still get to the point you started out with. I don't agree with that decision. But I love the show otherwise. So anyway, everything else has sucked. Halo sucks. Picard is beyond suck. All the things that I loved as a kid, they're destroying. They're wokeifying it and not caring about source material. They're just trying to push agendas instead of make entertainment. And while Doctor Strange was entertaining, I feel it failed in a lot of ways where it could have been better. And maybe that's because of the reshoots. Some of it's because of the wokeness. I don't know. I just hope they get their shit together and start making great shit again. But I don't know. I don't have high hopes. Anyway, If you listen to this whole thing, thank you. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll try and make videos more. I had a lot of things going on with my house and my health the last couple weeks. That's why I haven't been on as much and work. So I've been really busy. I'm gonna try and set up a new studio soon. That's why it looks different and it's messy in here. In the next few months, hopefully, I'll have a whole new studio. I don't know what's wrong with the audio's a little weird. Apologize for that. And anyway, I will see you next time.